Hi, everybody. It's episode 613 of PodQuest.
Hey.
I'm Chris. With me is Walnut.
Yeah, it's me.
Druten's off somewhere doing something. Who knows? Probably
Yeah,
music.
he's gallivanting around town or something. I don't know. He didn't tell us. He just said he's out for today. So he's reporting live from the field.
If only he was reporting, right?
Yeah,
Man.
Exactly.
I have been sneezing so much today.
So, here's you have nose allergies. I break out in hives, specifically on my hands, allergies. And, the past couple of years, they haven't been that bad. This year, they have been bad. My skin peels and it actually kind of hurts at times. That's how bad it does, and I get hives and whatnot. And it has been very bad this year. But I've also been out doing a lot more yard work than I normally would in this time of year because I'm trying to keep up with it. So, but it was even bad before then. So yeah, allergies are terrible this year. They suck. I think even maybe Sunday or Monday, I started feeling very, very lightheaded and dizzy at times. It was reminiscent of clogged up sinus airway and potential sinus infection. And I was just like, this sucks. This all just sucks. It's terrible.
Yeah, today's been one of those days where my eyes weren't bothering me. I wasn't really congested or anything, and then all of a sudden just sneezing. Non-stop sneezing. So I'm just have to mute myself.
I'm just happy that it was relatively warm today. That's just what I'm most happy about. The past couple of days has been under 70, and it's not cold, but it takes a while to warm up at night or in the morning. Whereas today it reached mid-70s, and I'm like, okay, this is where I want it. This is great. It's been nice though. Outside of that, it was just the pollen count. Medium for grass, medium for trees.
Oh, it's actually lower today.
According to Google, at least. But also, I think a lot of my problems is just the air pressure and stuff, too. My ankle has been bothering me so much because of the air pressure and the rain and whatnot. It's just been sucky. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a time.
And then, because I know everyone's going to ask and everyone's curious, I also lost the contest, and so this week's just been terrible. I've been in it. I
saw that, and so I wasn't going to ask.
No, I told all the fans that listen that I'd let them know that if I win or lose.
You were a finalist, though.
I was a quote finalist. So let's get into that real quick. So I for anyone who hasn't paid attention, I entered into a contest to potentially play D&D live on stage at a convention in upstate New York. I'm not going to name the convention just because I'm sort of bad-mouthing them, but not necessarily bad-mouthing them, just I'm not happy with how this thing was ran. And so it's more of, I don't want negative press towards them, it's just more of I just don't like how it goes, or how it went. And I was wrong on some aspects of my unhappiness of how they chose the winner and stuff. But all the contest was, all the rules were just straight up, just, hold on one second. Sorry. My neighbors are outside playing with their kids, and their baby keeps falling and getting upset, and so I was just like, okay. I think I saw it getting picked up in their waveform, so I was just like, let's just close the door real quick. So, back to the convention. The contest was to make a video, a 1-minute video, saying why you should play on stage with everyone else. Posted on TikTok or other social medias, but TikTok was the best one. And hashtag the convention 2026, and then tag all the players that were going to be at the convention. So I did that, and I posted that. I was literally, as far as I could tell, the first or second person to enter into the contest. For some reason, my hashtag didn't work. So I ended up, just if I go to click the hashtag, it just doesn't click. It's not hyperlink. So I emailed them, and they put me in. They entered me. They're like, "You're entered. We got you. Thank you." And I was like, "Cool, thank you." And then I before I even made the video, I was checking the hashtag to see if there were other entries, to see how other people were entering and watch other videos, to get ideas, to see how see what my competition was. Is really what it was. And because I entered in so early, I didn't get a lot of ideas. So I was just really basing it off of one person who was like, "Hey," their video was like, "Hey, here's me. I've been playing D&D for however long, and blah blah blah, this, that, and the other," and just like talked about their career playing D&D and stuff, which is like, okay, like this is a D&D contest, so it makes sense. So that's what I did. I'm Walnuts. I'm a small time streamer and content creator. I love D&D. Been playing since the start of 5e. Fell in love with it. I make all kinds of characters. I like it to be both silly and serious and blah blah blah. And I post my video. No videos get posted. No videos get updated. No like confirmation. No emails. No messages. Nothing about entries and whatnot. The entries were due May 4th, and they were supposed to announce the winner on May 8th. May 4th comes and goes. Great. They don't email anybody. They don't message anybody saying, "Hey, you're a finalist. Hey, let's get to know you more." Nothing like that. There's no contact from them in that week. May 8th comes and goes. They don't announce a winner. The 9th comes and goes. They don't announce a winner. The 10th, Mother's Day. They, at 5 o'clock, announce the 4 finalists. Lo and behold, the 4 finalists are me, the one guy whose video I based my video off of, the only other person's video I could find using that hashtag, and one other person. So I'm like, were we the 4 finalists, or were there only 4 entrants? So like, it kind of bothered me to name finalists, because there's no point in naming me a finalist if I cannot do anything to push myself further into the competition. What is the sense of naming the finalist if I can't do something between the time that you name a finalist and the time that you announce a winner to push myself to win?
Yeah, that is a little weird. Like, that just seems like them trying to be like, "Hey, we're not sure yet, so we don't want to keep everyone totally hanging."
And that's probably what it was. Is the way they had explained it was the council of the convention, whoever, like the people that put together the convention, they picked out a couple of people, and then the players get to choose from those people that the convention picks out from. So we have 4 entrants. Through 2 of them, the hashtag worked. Me, my hashtag didn't work. The last person, I think they did the hashtag, but I don't find them in the hashtag. And I'm like, all right, well, let's see what happens. They then come and they announce that the winner. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, let's go check them out. Let's watch their video. And their videos, for starters, they have over 10,000 followers on TikTok. And they are actively participating and performing in several actual plays. So the person that they chose to win is seemingly already in the D&D space for this fan contest. Now, had I known that, like, maybe that would have helped, I would have mentioned fucking bonus action. I would have, even though we haven't done it in years, and it would only went for a couple of episodes. I would have been like, hey, yeah, I've DM'd some one-shots and an actual play for a full season. The actual play fell through because of scheduling.
Yeah, but I mean, it was a full season. We did, like, 12 episodes or more.
Yeah, we did a decent amount of episodes. We had a decent amount of content. Had I known that, like, that could have helped, I would have mentioned that. Because one of her, like, her biggest selling point...
23 episodes. We did 23 episodes.
Yeah, like, her biggest selling point was, I perform in actual plays, so you know I'm good behind the mic. I've been recording a podcast for over 10 years. I've been live streaming for 5 years. I've recorded another podcast for 6 years. Like, you know I'm good behind the mic. Like, had I known, like, but this person, their entry wasn't posted until sometime between 7 o'clock on the 4th and 11:30 on the 4th. Because when they announced the winner around 7 o'clock, I checked the video and it was still labeled as only 6 days old. So sometime between 7 and 11:30, they posted a video. Very last minute. Very late to the game. And so I initially thought, like, oh, they didn't post it until the next day. Which, I was like, that's not part of the rule. The rules said to get it in on the 4th. So, no, I have no negative feelings towards this person who won. I hope they have a great show. I really do. I'm more upset at the fact that this person who's already in the game space, or the Let's Play space, and the D&D name, was brought up to win this fan contest. Like, even leading up to it, I looked at it and I was like, honestly, I feel like of the 4 people, one of us should win and it's not me. and it was the one person who had the least amount of followers on TikTok, who only ever posted one video, and that was her video to enter in, and is not a creator. I'm like, this is what the contest was made for. Was her. So like, yeah, so I reached out to them. I was like, hey, just curious what made me a finalist, what made the four of us finalists, like what were the criteria, and like how many people applied. I'm just curious because like I couldn't find any other entries. I could really only find a couple of us, and the hashtag didn't really seem to work. And they're like, "Oh, we had over 20 entries, and you four were the best four." And I was like, "All right, well, no problem, thank you." And they're like, "Yeah, we really appreciate you entering." I was like, "Well, hopefully next year, I guess, if you do this. Hopefully next time." But like, I'm just like, it bothers me
Yeah.
that like the person is an actual play performer, and they chose them over a fan, over fans. Like if we were to look at all the analytics, the person who won had over 10,000 followers on TikTok. The rest of their socials are pretty small. The other person who I based my video off of has like 20,000 followers on TikTok. I didn't really look into the rest of their socials. They're very big. They're both pretty big creators. Then you look at me, my highest number is 680 Twitch followers. That's it. Like I don't break 1,000 on anything else. I don't think.
Gotta start
And
paying for those bots that always like fucking contact you.
yeah, seriously. And then we have the person who's like who was the legit fan, and so it bothered me, and it really bummed me out because like I was trying this whole time to look at it as if I was going to lose. I was like, if I'm not gonna win this, this is a long shot. This isn't gonna happen. And then they named me a finalist. And then I'm like, oh, I could actually win this. And furthermore, and like I kind of wanted to say this to them, like, hey, next time maybe do a little bit of research because when I go live, my going live like message for your push notifications on Twitch is greetings fellow humans. And their announcement video for the finalists says fellow humans. And so I'm like, is that a hint? Is that a hint? Like,
Oh.
and it started getting into my head, like, what if I do win this? It also bums me out because I had a friend who was going to come up and then come to the convention with me, and it would have been really nice to spend the weekend with them. And now I don't know if I don't think they're planning on coming up anyway, because like it would have been a lot of money for them to come up either way, but this would have been like a free weekend for the two of us to hang out and do something really fun. So it's
Yeah.
just, yeah, it's just all around a bummer. I hope the session is good. I hope they have fun. I hope this person who won has a great time. I really hope like the convention is a very successful convention. It's really done really well. I hope everyone has a good time. It's just I'm bummed out about like the selection process and things like that. I don't. It's again, it's another one of those things that I always happen to be stuck into where there's no true parameters of what they're looking for. They just tell you to go, and then hopefully it works.
You're right.
And so there's no checking your work. There's no verifying based on other people. There's no like I thought maybe if they like especially if they were doing a finalist announcement, they should have done that announcement on like Thursday or Friday, like the 7th or 8th, and said, here's our finalists. Hey, finalists, you're going to be contacted by the players so they can talk to you and figure out who they vibe with. Like
Actually, yeah,
that
that
at
would be an
least
interesting way to do it.
that at least would have given me an opportunity to meet with them. And if they would have turned like, all right, well, we're probably going to go with somebody else, but like we'll keep you in mind for other things, and like give me an opportunity to at least meet these creators that are going to be on stage. Like I am a finalist, but I got nothing from being a finalist, and I had no way to placate my case to be a finalist.
Yeah, I
And
do
being a
wonder if you're
finalist.
right and they just really didn't have any other entries, and so they went with the person that seemed like they would be able to run with it easiest.
Yeah, I mean, and that's like who know, like it really who knows because we weren't involved in the process of selecting. There was no interview process or anything like that. Like it was a very quick turnaround time. I'm and look, I'm gonna be 100% honest. Part of it is this person is from I believe like the general New Hampshire area. Maybe it's just cheaper to get them out to northern upstate New York.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? That could
Like
actually play into it also.
that, like it could even be that like they maybe check to see like I don't know if I have location if I have like New Jersey or whatever based um on my TikTok, but like they might have just looked at everyone's general location if they have it listed and been like this person's New Jersey, this person's New Hampshire, this person's Connecticut or I don't know. You know.
Yours is actually Hawaii.
Yeah, mine's Hawaii.
Um,
Um
but do you
but
want? Shall we actually get to the show?
yeah, let's get to the show. There's not
So,
much of a
what's on
show.
the agenda?
Cobb, you read a book, and then we played some board games, and then you played a video game. Like that's it. That's about it. It's not a busy week. It's been hectic for me. Like
I had a busy week.
it's been it's been hectic for me, man. It's been stressful. I'm exhausted always.
I am right there with you.
So tell us about the last contract
Of Isaka.
of Isa. Okay, there's more to that because it's just so many words. The Last Contract of Isako by Fonda Lee.
Yeah, so this came out last week. Fonda Lee's an author I really like. She also wrote the Greenbone Saga. This book is like a cyberpunk far future on a planet that like humans traveled to try and say colonize. But it is not a planet that necessarily supports human life. So everyone lives in like this one giant kind of like city that's in a bubble. That outside of the bubble, it's like harsh terrain and sub-zero temperatures all the time, and not enough oxygen to actually live on. And everything is basically run by companies. So it's one of those like kind of dystopian cyberpunk things where like corporations are kind of what run this world. So you know, very, very much like the real world. And Izako, she is what's called an A tier, which is part kind of business liaison. Like they're responsible, like when they get hired by executives and stuff like that in different divisions of this overarching company, to basically act as like business liaison, doing like business stuff for them, but also being like a pseudo bodyguard and also the occasional assassin and HR representative. So the book actually opens up with her going to track down the last two people on a list of employees that were being terminated in general. After her company kind of lost what they refer to as war, and they don't really get into whether this was like a physical, like two different divisions in the company physically fighting or more like a corporate war. Her the executive that she was contracted to lost, so his division was basically being fused into the winners, and because of that, like a ton of people were just getting fired because there were no spots for them to kind of fit in. And you find out right away that there are two ways that people take this. Some people try to fight. And in that case, that's why Izako is the one that gets sent to handle them, because she will put them down. And then they get nothing. And then the other option is if they willingly resign. And what happens there is they get what I assume in this world is a generous severance package. But the expectation is that their resignation means they will essentially kill themselves. So resigning in this world means leaving the city. And people seem to do it in either solidarity or solitary. Not solidarity. Solitary, meaning they go to one of the exits and kind of leave on their own. Or they'll kind of like a bunch of people will get together at once when there's kind of like a big thing like this and all leave together. And they basically just walk out into the wilderness until they collapse and die from both exposure to the extreme elements and lack of oxygen. And morbidly, this is also used as kind of a sign of habitableness of the planet. Because basically they can judge by how much further people get every time something like this happens to if the temperatures are coming down or coming up, and if there is more oxygen available in the atmosphere. because like part of what this giant corporation is responsible for is actually like creating greenhouse gases. Like there's a gas department that where we're trying to like push people to like EV and stuff like that and reduce negative emissions. They're pushing for people to buy combustion engines and do things that would generally create like greenhouse gases and global warming and all that stuff. As an attempt to try and make the planet habitable. And every so often they expand the city. Like they'll like build out the walls and then bring down the ones that are internal, and like the city will get bigger. But so as part of this, and this is in like the first 3 chapters, after Isako takes care of that, her boss then decides he's fucking done with the corporate bullshit and actually resigns himself without telling her or anybody. He just shows up at like the resignation day when everyone else is like walking out and just gives a speech, tells everyone to go fuck themselves that's involved in like the company, and fucks off into the wilderness to die. Which means that Isako, her contract is now like terminated. She's also 50, so like she's nearing retirement. They actually have a 65 age retirement in this world too. So she's nearing retirement. And at her age and with her most recent contract holder killing himself, and her being on that contract for like 12 years, she's not necessarily in a position that she's going to get another contract because of how much she costs, essentially, as an A tier and as one that is like experienced. So she actually asks if she can resign, because her thinking is like, she's lived a life. She has an adult daughter, like in her like 20s. If she resigns, she can just hand over the severance to her daughter and know that her daughter will be like good for the foreseeable future. But of course, that's not how things go. It turns out that her former boss actually transferred her contract to the executive who won the war that they were having. And while that executive already has an A tier, she wants Isako to go do one last thing before letting her go resign, if that's what she wants to do. So like that's kind of like the setup in the first like 3 or 4 chapters. The rest of the book is very much like this samurai-ish like detective thriller. Like it's a little hard to like narrow down exactly what it is, but it's Isako is on this mission to try and get somebody who has been elected to the board, which is essentially like the Congress of the world. If there was no president between Congress and everything, that her current boss doesn't think is fit for the role. And so it's a lot of her like investigating things and like looking in the stuff while also trying to figure out if her previous apprentice, who was actually this guy's A tier, killed himself or was murdered. She thinks he was murdered, but like things are a little shady. Overall, like though, it was a really good book. I had a great time with it. It was weird. Like there were a ton of like twists that early on I expected one thing. Like I kind of thought that it was all going in one direction where the apprentice was actually behind a bunch of stuff. And there was a point where I'm like, oh shit, I was right. And then it immediately like did a 180 and went in a totally different direction than what I expected it to. And I guess one other important thing to note about this world, because it's actually key to the plot. Once rich people specifically, like executives and stuff like that, once they get old and they're like in their like 70s and 80s, they generally do what they call in the book is like second stage, where they buy a super advanced like synthetic body and they have their brain transplanted into it. And generally the bodies are made to look like them when they're younger for the most part, or like when they're younger and also their ideal self. So like some people will, bigger muscles, like fuller hair, shit like that. But it lets these people live to be about 150, because that's what they say the human brain can exist to, is about 150 years before it eventually just expires. So all the people in charge tend to be incredibly old. Like the youngest people in charge are in like their 70s and 80s. much like America.
Okay. Yeah. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
But yeah, so like a big part of the plot is like the director that they're trying to kind of like not have move up in ranks has just second staged. And he's also done some shady shit where he his bodyguard, she was fatally injured, and he put her brain into his ex-wife's body that he like synth body that he had created but kept because he got divorced, and fuck that lady was basically his mentality.
Mhm.
So there was a lot of like, okay, well, like this guy seems fucking shady as hell. And yeah, it was just cool side characters. Kind of like a bittersweet ending. Like it was definitely like more of a not like a sad ending, but definitely oh man, like this is not a happy ending. This is just kind of an ending.
Yeah.
Like people, not everyone kind of made it out unscathed, and the people that did definitely aren't like, you know, living their best lives or anything. This is not an overthrow the system story. This is very much a story that takes place inside of a system that, for better or worse, is just the system they have to work with.
Hmm.
But I really enjoyed it and definitely recommend it. It wasn't too long. I think it was like 500 pages or so.
Yeah.
Also, really
Interesting.
cool cover. I love the cover.
Interesting. It sounds honestly sounds a little too dark for me. Sounds a
Uh,
little dark.
like it's dark, but like it's not like grimdark where like everything is always awful. Like there's up moments and down moments basically. Like Isako reconnects with like a former partner. There's like some ups and downs there too, but like overall, like it's got a good balance. And yeah, it's about 520 pages, 530 pages. So like kind of like in the middle range for like a sci-fi fantasy book.
Hmm.
But this is the sort of book where like it would honestly be a perfect like limited series at like HBO or Amazon, like one of the places where like they do tend to like throw a little bit more budget at like some of their like speculative fiction based properties. And like it shouldn't it's a standalone, so it's not part of a series, so it shouldn't get like a multi-season deal. But like an 8 or 10 episode like limited series would actually be perfect for this, because like
Yeah.
it's got just enough action and like visual stuff going on that like I think it would work really well like that.
Yeah, but they're not going to do that, unfortunately. If it can't get Game of Thrones numbers and have 35 seasons, then they're not going to do it.
Oh no, not at all. And like Fonda Lee isn't like, she is popular in like fantasy science fiction realms, but like I don't know that her name is like up there for like studios when they're looking to like grab this stuff.
Yeah.
And like the worst thing would be if a studio did grab it and they're like, we're going to do a 4 season arc with this. I'm like, well, that's going to just drag this out and make it bad.
Yeah.
But still, great book, definitely worth reading.
Nice. Interesting.
Yeah. But besides that, we did play some board games.
We did. We played some board games this weekend. That's all I really got up to this weekend because it was a stupid busy weekend. And yeah,
Galaxy
we played.
Truckers was the first one, right?
Yes, Galaxy Truckers and Mysterium Park. Let's talk Mysterium Park first, because Galaxy Truckers is going to take a little bit longer, because it's also a review copy and stuff like that. I mean, Mysterium Park is just a smaller form of Mysterium.
Yeah. And I think we talked about Mysterium when we played it a few months ago.
Yeah, at least once before, if not other times. It's just, it's an interesting, like, social deduction sort of, not social deduction game, but it's an interesting deduction game. Mysterium's been around for a long time. If you have never heard of Mysterium, it's just basically one person plays as a ghost and they're trying to show them images of the possible murderer. In the base version, each player gets a different person or suspect, and then at the end you have to try to figure out who it is that was the actual murderer. In this one, it's similar, however, instead of it being like cooperative then competitive, it's just all cooperative. You find out, you're finding who is safe, and then at the end of it all, you're picking out you're working together to find the killer. And yeah, it's interesting. It's fun. It was
Yeah,
I like Mysterium. I
Mysterium Park was harder than the base game. I think because
it
like it's a little
was.
more, that you have less turns, I guess, to do stuff, and like
I
the field is
didn't.
technically bigger.
I don't think we really had less turns, but the problem is the reason Mysterium Park is harder is because if you if player one guesses their thing, they don't get to move on until all the rest of the players get their thing, and that's why it was harder. I believe it was the same amount of turns. It's
No, no, no.
just
I said Mysterium Park was harder.
that's what I think that yeah, okay, yeah. It is. But I think but I'm saying I don't think it's because of the amount of turns. I think it's because of the stepping back of certain gameplay function. In
Well, there's
Mysterium,
also more. So you have 9 things to guess from in Park, and I think there were only 3 per tier in the base game, right?
no, there was I mean there could be a little bit more. But like there's at least six or more in the base game. There wasn't just 3 each because there'd have to be more than how many players there are in each
That's fair.
section.
I just know, like, we succeeded in the base game. We failed
Yeah,
every time in Park.
we succeeded in the base game, but again, that's because like when I moved forward and guessed everything right in the base game, I was done and then could easily help you guys, and I didn't have to worry about my turns and stuff. And like the base game has like more of the competitive nature. This is all cooperative, so once one person moves forward, they don't get to continue to make their guesses until everyone makes their guess, and
But
that's what makes it the
isn't
harder
that how the base
aspect.
game is, though, too?
No, the base game, comp, I've said this 4 times. You guess the person, and
Right.
once you guess the person, you move up and start guessing the thing.
I don't remember us guessing the thing right away. I thought we had
No,
to wait
yeah,
until everyone moved up.
no, you continue. You moved up and guessed the thing, and then you moved up and guessed, or you guessed the person, then you guessed the place, and then you guessed the thing. If you get it right the first time, you just keep going forward because it is a competitive game. The point is there were points and stuff like that we were getting by voting whether or not somebody was right or wrong to increase our number of cards or something that we would get in the final round. And in the final round, it was to determine whether or not we could pick out who the murderer was. And there could be multiple winners, or there could be a single winner based on who picks
So,
what. But
I just brought it up. It looks like it was like 5 for a 3-person game. It was 5 in the first tier, 5 in the second tier, and 5 in the third tier. So
mhm,
each tier had 5 versus 9
yeah,
potential guessing points.
yes.
So even if you
Um,
fail, like you're
if
narrowing them down quicker than
yeah,
we were in this one.
yeah, but it's like you could some. I think the first time we played, I had one and done all 3 of my guesses in original Mysterium, and then I was helping you guys make your guesses. But in this one, yeah, like there's more to pick from, and it's Mysterium Park. It's a carnival, so everyone is like. I don't know. It's hard to say, but like everyone is kind of they all have a similar occupation. They all have a similar like every all the cards or at least like location cards specifically, but all the cards
They
have
had a
like
lot of similarities.
have a lot of similar feel to it, and it's just it's and in those kinds of games when you get your head set on something, it's hard to get your head out of it. And I did terrible our first round because I saw gold. That's what I saw, and there was nothing taking me out of gold. Those first 2 cards I got was like gold, and so I was attributing all the gold I could find. And then yeah, I saw like it was the second set of cards I got. One of them gave me like an Asian inspired, and there were 2 Asian characters. I was like, okay, so maybe, and those characters both had gold on their card. So like everything that and like that's the hard part about those games is like as you're talking and discussing, trying to figure it out, the person who's trying to give you the hints also needs to, if they hear your thought process, needs to find a way to push you away from that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that Matt did poorly. I'm not saying that Erica did poorly, but nothing was pushing me away from the gold. And anytime, like, and I guess like it's just what he was seeing in the cards was not what I was seeing in the cards, and I was like, all right, well, this is then going to push me closer to what I've already was saying that I was into, and so we did very terrible. That I did terrible that first round, and I think we all did terrible that second round. I mean that's
And
the nature of those games. I also was extremely tired at that time. I
That's
didn't
fair.
realize how exhausted I had gotten by that point, and so I just wasn't thinking.
Yeah, and like the other tough thing with that game too is like the person who's giving out the clues, like they can't say anything,
Yeah,
but also
they
like they're kind of at the mercy of the cards they pull. So they pull seven
yeah
cards at a time, and they can essentially reshuffle their hand, I think 3 or 4 times in a round.
they can reshuffle their hand equal to the amount of tickets that they have.
Yeah, which I think started at 3 or 4. I forget exactly how
Yeah,
many they start with. But yeah, so like whoever's given the clues, they draw 7 cards. They give the players as many of the cards they have as they feel necessary to get their point across.
hmm
And then they draw back up to 7. So it's
yeah,
not like they're not getting rid of any remaining cards between that either. So like if they just keep pulling shit cards for like the scenario,
yeah,
like they have to just start looking at things like abstractly.
yeah, and
And
that's
sometimes they think it's like, oh yeah, no, this is perfect. This is exactly what it'll do.
yeah,
And then the player's just like, this doesn't make any fucking sense.
yeah, yeah. It's
Because
just
it
it's
was the
how
clown,
those games
Rich.
work.
It was the fucking clown. And I told you it was a clown, and you told me no, it's not the clown.
I did not see the clown in that. Like I still like even after he explained it, I was like, I still don't see the clown. I really don't. Like
Told you it was the clown, and you're just like, no, it's not the clown. It's
but
the
like
fucking snake charmer.
yeah, because the last card he had was a fucking had snakes on it. The last two cards he gave me had snakes on it. As I look, yes, I went with the ethnicity route, and I was like, this card, this kind of looks like an Asian style dragon, and it's giving me Asian style, and these masks are giving me like Asian continent, and we have a somebody who looks to be like Chinese, Japanese, and we have somebody who looks to be of Indian descent. That's where I'm going right there based on these cards. And I think I even mentioned like this person's a snake charmer at one point before he gave me the snake card. And then he gives me snake card and I'm like, it's the snake charmer. And it's like sometimes you just oh man, snake card snakes with when like and you gotta sometimes he might not have noticed the flute, which was where I was like, oh, that's snake charmer, the flute right there,
Yeah.
boom.
Yeah, because
Like
like and
he
like Matt said too, like he is looking um at the cards that like we have to pick from upside down
mm,
too, based on how the
yeah.
board was laid out.
Yeah. So yeah. So it's yeah, they're Mysterium games are always fun. It's just can be challenging. But the other game we played, which was a game that we got from CGE, was Galaxy Truckers, and we also used some of the Do What expansion of Galaxy Truckers. The best way to let's see what how Board Game Geek describes Galaxy Truckers.
It's like an engine building almost, right?
I wouldn't call it engine building because engine building means that like as the game goes on, you're using the cards you draw to like you're it's a shipbuilding game. It's not an engine building game. Galaxy Truck.
Dice rolling, events, grid coverage, open drafting.
Oh, open drafting for sure. Yes. Real time. Okay. Yeah. So like adventure, aviation flight, dice. I mean, not really, but real time, simultaneous action, open drafting type of game. Yes.
It's a weird
That
game.
makes it's an amalgam of a lot. And so I had actually opened this months ago to try to learn how to play it, and I read through the booklet to try to figure out like the book is 40 something pages. And I've read through it and the first 20 pages is like, "Hey, here's how you set up the first time you should play." And it's the learning thing that we did. Our first game. And it's like do it this way. And then once you're done that play session, then go on to play the full game. And so the first like half the book is explaining piece by piece how things connect and all of that stuff. And it was a very intimidating because there are a metric ton of pieces. But like once you actually get into playing it and like understand what you have to do, the piece you're like, oh, none of these pieces even matter until we get to the base part of the game is just building a spaceship on the cards that are on the table. And once you build the spaceship, then you go into the pieces, which like you can determine and strategize after you finished building everything, And then the rest of the game is very quick. Like the expansion, the Do What expansion incorporates a turn-based drafting system, which to me, I will never play the turn-based drafting system ever again, ever, unless like
Unless you're making that the whole game,
yeah,
you're doing like
which
the large ship.
the large ship gets into like as the game goes on for the base. So every game board has 3 ships on it. There's a front side, back side, and then it flips open for the middle, basically. The front side is the small ship, the back side is the medium ship, and then flipped open is the large ship. A normal game is played across 3 rounds, where each round you reset the ship tokens and you build the next bigger ship.
Right.
So round 1 is the small ship. You do that, and then there's a card scenario that you play through and do your truck, your route. Once you get done those cards, you wipe all your boards, you keep your token, you keep your money tokens. Then you flip to the other side and make the middle ship, and then you flip to the last side and make the big ship after you do all of that. I wouldn't even do the turn-based drafting. If you're just going to do the big ship, I wouldn't do the turn-based drafting for that. We were doing the little ship, and it took us an hour and a half.
I mean, if that's the entire game you're going, like, not doing the rest of the game. Like, if you're just going to do, like, building the ship, I think just building the ship was more fun in turn-based than it was doing that free-for-all. I actually didn't like the free-for-all.
But then how do you do anything else? There's no...
Whoever finishes first is the winner.
Then I can put like 10 pieces down and say I'm done.
No, I mean like actually like finish like the board.
You're just homebrewing your own game here.
Oh yeah,
Bob.
To be fair, I had fun with the game. I didn't really enjoy the chaotic like everyone just grab things at once. And I think like the second phase, it's kind of just passive. Like
second phase is very passive and it goes very quick. But like we were only doing the base version. The second level, so the first level has only 8 cards. Second level has could be a lot more cards. Like I think that one has 12, and the last level has 16 cards. And so things can move around a lot more. The ships are a lot bigger. And so to sit there and build the ship, like I said, it took us 2 hours, almost an hour and a half, to build the smallest ship in the turn-based building. And like a couple of the turns, yeah, I took my time for the most part. Once I got to a certain point, it was just go. I was just flipping tokens. All right, that's not what I need. Flipping tokens, it's not what I need. Like it is also supposed to be a little bit chaotic when building your ship, and it's supposed to be like a rush. When building the ships, I just kept forgetting the fact that I could take other people's tokens that are in front of them, and I just kept flipping tokens instead. It wasn't until more than halfway through that I started moving tokens and looking through what everyone else had flipped. I like that. I like the bigger ship drafting, because when you get to the bigger ships, because you have to realize all of us had most of our ships built. I was the only one that was missing any parts on our ships on the open draft section. There weren't a lot of tokens left.
No, there really weren't.
So when it comes to building the giant ship, that's going to be you're going to be struggling to get even like 3/4 of that thing built. So like that is going to be a hard thing to do. So like it is a path to get to getting points. That like I don't think I would do the open drafting even if you're only doing 1 round ever again. Like I don't even think I would, because like even in the book explains like if you're playing with new people, do the learning mode and do open drafting. However, don't do the timer. Just let people keep going until they're all done. And then once everyone learns how to build their ship and like when you do the ship checking, check the ship, make sure everything's connected properly. If it's not, let them take pieces off and put pieces on that'll work. And then from there, the next time you play, then it's open draft with the time. And it's supposed to go quick. And we played entire round of like building our ship to finishing the cards in a quarter of the time that it took us to build our ship.
It went much faster.
It went so fast. And it's like that's I mean, that's just the part of it, and I really liked that. And look, I sucked. I lost both games, big time. The second game, I crashed and could not play after 2 rounds.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but it is very passive. But I think because that's like it's passive because that is the point of the game is the shipbuilding, not the actual. You get points based on how well your ship was done,
Yeah,
based on those cards. Like that is just a minor feature, not minor, but that is that is like the point system is that, and it goes quick because it's very passive. It affects either the person in front or the person in back, or there is some selection and planning that you get to do, but it's all based on the luck of the draw of the cards. Really, is what it is.
yeah. I mean, that
Um,
is true. But yeah,
yeah,
I mean, like, I will say, like, well, I didn't have a bad time with it. I don't know that I would ever want to play that game again. Like, it wasn't really my type of game. Because
yeah.
like I
Well,
said, I
you don't
didn't
like
have a good,
space.
I didn't have a good time with the free for all at all.
Hmm.
Like, I found that to be kind of boring because like we weren't doing anything other than just grabbing tiles, flipping them, and either putting them down or throwing them back. Like at least with the turn based one, we were like joking and like making something out of it.
Yeah, yeah. I get that, and so like there is like a missions mode, in the expansion, the Do What expansion, that I'd have to look into more. That like maybe if we were to do like the missions modes and the different mission contracts, like if it's just a one and done, then all right, maybe. But again, I feel like that open draft that turn based
But
drafting just
it made it take significantly longer. Like
it
I
took
don't disagree with you there.
it took yeah, like that was my biggest issue with it was like we were in it for an hour and a half and we were building the smallest ship, so I
But
can
you figure
only imagine.
Erica won that first game, and she was not at the table for any of this the second half after the shipbuilding.
Yeah,
She was getting food ready, and she still won because the back half is really just like flipping cards and seeing how well you
the
did.
the back half is scoring. Yeah, 100%. But there's so many games like that where the front half is it's loaded doing the front half. But if you want to do a full game, just imagine sitting there doing the turn-based drafting for 3 rounds.
Oh yeah, but like I also wouldn't want to do the everyone goes at once 3 times either.
I would like to try that because I would like to try the like see the progression and see how much different each ship would become. Like that adds like the modularness to it and stuff like that, and it makes it a little bit different. Um, just like we were making the smallest ship, you get such limited space. Um, I mean, look, I messed up a lot.
Yeah, you did.
I forgot to use. I didn't even forget. I just wasn't even thinking to use my VIP. Um, what's it called?
The room.
Yeah, my VIP room as just a regular room. I was like, well, I'm not looking for the VIP, so that's just gonna stay up there. I could have used it as a regular room. Um, or like I didn't. I had 3 freaking shields because I held one shield, and then I found a better shield, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna lose points if I don't use this shield, so I gotta use it. And then of course the end game part, like it's all random, it's all card shuffling. My shields didn't fucking matter. I was still getting shot either way. Um, and or no, it wasn't even. I didn't even get shot at. I got boarded basically and lost all my crew members. And I just like, well, that sucks. Like I didn't get to participate in the end sequence at all. Um, and yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying with the fact that it's passive, but I like I like that the scoring process like that is a lot faster. And I would much rather if I were to do a full 3 rounds of this game, if I were to play the game again, like because even if we were to just do one round, it only took 20 minutes. Like that is a quick pick up and teach to play and play game. Like it's not hard to
That is
teach.
true.
Like that is like this. Look, hey guys, we got 20 minutes here. Let me teach you how to play this. It's real quick. Just build a ship, and then we'll go from there. And then if it's like, hey, if you like that, let's do round two. Let's do round three. You could potentially get 3 rounds done in under an hour, depending on how
You'd probably
fast.
still need at least an hour.
You'd probably with how many pieces there are, you need an hour just to clean up. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very fun. I thought it was like pretty chaotic and silly, and I like the chaos of the I like the idea of the chaos behind like the open drafting card system. Like
Yeah.
I like open drafting. I like where it's just like you keep going until you're done or until the time runs out. And like the harder levels, there's more um uh uh hourglass flipping as well. So once you start placing tokens, there's several spots
Oh,
on
right.
the board. There's several spots on the board. So when you're doing open drafting for the base game, once somebody's done, they flip the hourglass to count down and give people that much time. However, in second round and third round, there's a couple of extra spots. So you can like fake people out by being like, I'm almost done. I'm going to flip this so that we can get it going. Because it needs to go all four before you can stop it and before you get to the end. Or it needs to go through all different levels before you get to the end. So you can like start faking people out and stuff. Yeah, then there were things that like we didn't even get into using. There's a whole expansion that we really didn't touch at all.
Right. Yeah,
That
all
I
those other like red and black tiles we didn't use.
Yeah, there were a bunch of red tiles that were used for like the mission mode, the mission campaigns and stuff like that. The VIPs are very particular on how they work. And it's like you have to build your ship in a certain way. And I just personally felt like with the smallest ship, it was really hard to work around the VIPs. And if we were
Yeah, it really
using
was.
if we were using the bigger ships, we would have been able to use the VIPs a little bit more. And yeah, I was so excited to use aliens that I decided to use aliens instead of people. But even if I used people, it still wouldn't have mattered. I would have lost anyway.
That is very
Um,
true.
but yeah,
It wasn't a bad game. Like I said, it's just it wasn't necessarily my type of game. Like I had a decent enough time playing it, but all the different pieces just didn't kind of come together for me.
yeah, I get you. I get you. We'll only have to play it like one or two more times in our lifetime.
Nah, I don't have to ever play it again.
I'm gonna make you play it. I'm gonna make you play it again.
I will veto it every time.
Nope. Next year on my birthday, I'm bringing it. And
We're
we're
gonna
playing
skip August next year.
Nope. Honestly, we probably will. We'll probably skip August every year.
Something will come
Um,
up.
but yeah. So I mean, guys, give a look out for Galaxy Truckers. I'll have a video up about it. Might be doing that tonight, so it might be up this weekend. It might not be up till
Nice.
next weekend. It really depends on timing of how much energy I'll have to actually get the writing and recording and editing done. The one thing I'm not doing, I mean, if anything, if I do take B-roll shots, I'm not taking anything out of the fucking bags. I might just throw the bags on my kitchen table and be like, "Here's all the tokens." Because normally when I make these videos, I do that. I like lay out the tokens in a nice manner so that like they can all be seen and you can like see some detail. There are
So
so
many.
many tokens in this game.
And it was hard to get them all back in the bags.
Yeah, some of the bags were very small. Specifically, the batteries were a pain in the ass. The batteries just like look like little green pills, and they were because the at least the bag that we were using was just a very small bag. So
Oh, see, I didn't have a problem with that. It was actually getting some of the like cardboard tokens in, like the money, like the credit ones.
yeah, I think I ended up finding a bigger bag that probably should have been used for those after we got done wrapping everything or finishing everything up. Like that's again, that's like I would say my only, as much as I love the game CGE makes, my only problem with it is they do tend to make and publish games that have so many pieces and their boxes are just here's a bunch of bags. Or in the terms of Lost Ruins of Arnak, I don't even think they gave me bags. It's just here's everything.
Yeah,
It
that's why
would be
like, I really like the packaging for that the Pirate Tea game.
mhm.
Like that game came packaged impeccably.
Yeah. Like it would be nice if they would have given us given better storage for some of the other pieces. Like I don't mind having the the ship tokens and baggies, but like the money and a couple of the other cards, make special holders for that. I wonder if like there's something I could find online that would have
Just
like a box organizer.
get a box of foam and just cut your own spots out, or a cube of foam. I'm sorry, not a box of foam.
Yeah, you can there you can buy some stuff online for an
Yeah.
organizer for Galaxy Truckers.
Oh, like specifically for Galaxy Truckers.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
People make them for everything. Like this one that I'm looking on Etsy, all the pieces fit perfectly within the box. All of the base game pieces fit perfectly within the box. And it's just a 3D printed thing that you slide inside the box and you place all the tokens within it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I did not know. I've never actually had to look for that, so I never would have thought to.
Yeah, I looked for it for Lost Ruins of Arnak at one point as well, and I think CGE actually makes something as well. And it's like it could be a little pricey. Like the one I was just looking at was $40 on Etsy.
That's not too bad.
No, not at all. But yeah, so Galaxy Truckers, it was a fun game. It was a silly game. Hopefully next time I get to play it, I get to do like the whole sequence of how to play it. And hopefully I get to look into more of the expansion and stuff, and maybe get to play some of those things as well.
Yeah, like see what the missions are all about.
Yeah, it was just like I said, the box was intimidating. Also, I wasn't expecting to play that on Saturday, so that's why I wasn't fully prepared to play it on Saturday either. Yeah,
Sounds like somebody's a slacker.
Look, I got held up doing other stupid shit, and I didn't have time to learn how to play SETI. That was originally the plan for Saturday was SETI.
Oh, right, but you didn't bring it, right?
I didn't bring it because the box is still in the plastic. I didn't have time to look into how to play it and put the friggin' board
Matt
together.
could have figured it out.
No, I wasn't gonna do that to him again.
He likes it.
I know, but still, like, I wanted to learn how to play it because, like, at this, like, I want to try doing like the Lost Ruins of Arnak single player mode, or maybe try to bring it to other game nights. But like, I need to relearn how to play Lost Ruins of Arnak because even though I played it, I don't really fully.
It was over a
remember
year
how to
ago
play.
that you played
It
it.
was also very long ago, but it was like I didn't learn to play it, so I don't like have all of the memory of how it goes. So I have to relearn a bit. It wouldn't take long, but I would like to try my best to learn how to play some of these games. But it's also hard
that's fair.
because a lot of these games I have are 4-player games, and my other game night is a 5-player game night that only likes to play one game, and I'm getting tired of that one game. It's called Space Base.
Oh.
It is.
You talked about this before.
Yeah, it's. I don't know if I talked about this on here, but it is a engine builder where basically your engine that you're building needs to be based off of the other players and not off of you, because it is a dice rolling engine builder where every time a player rolls a die, you roll 2 die and you either take each of the numbers on the die or combine them together, and based on whatever the roll is, activates a portion of your base, either getting you money, increasing your economy, or giving you victory points. And then you play until you reach 40 victory points. And if you were to, one of the things I don't really like about it, on your turn when you buy something, your money just drops all the way down to your economy, even if what you bought was less than your total amount of less than your total. So like say you have 15 and it only costs 10, you drop all the way down to your economy level, which could be like 1 or 2. So you lose money. You don't get your change back, basically, which is just annoying to me. And then on top of that, it's just like when you play certain games like that, there's really only a handful of strategies to win. And since it's based on other people, the strategy, like for me, my strategy to win is to get all of the cards that activate a single card each time. Because there are cards where like it'll have an arrow, like, okay, you can do anything on the left or anything on the right or anything on either side. And so I just make a chain to get to a certain point. Or the last time I played it was like I had it set to where if they rolled, say they rolled a 7, I would activate all of 7, which would get me like 15 gold. And then I would activate 8 because there was an arrow over to 8, which would give me another 6 gold. And then the arrow would go back to 7, which would then reactivate 7 again, giving me another 15 gold.
Okay.
So like I would have all this money, and then I would just end up buying things to like build that up. And that my train was activate whatever I can do to activate those to get all the money to buy the victory points or to get things to get victory points. And then it's just getting luck with dice rolls. And like, look, I love D&D, but like dice rolling in games is some of the worst aspects of some games. I'm just like, I don't need more dice rolls. Like if all the game is a dice roll, like that's when I played Risk the last time, and it was just an hour of dice rolling in one battle. I was just like, that's when my cousin gave up. And I'm like, well, you sat here and just loaded up your army with 100 units right here. This is your fault. This is 100% your fault. You should have attacked. You should have attacked at any time. This is my hot take. This is what I'm gonna say. I don't know if I've said this on here. The reason people don't like and games of Risk never end in a timely fashion is because you're treating it like it's real life and not a fucking board game. Just attack people. Don't.
Says the guy who tries to min-max games.
I won though. They seceded to me. I won, and I was not sitting there trying to build up a giant army. I was just attacking. Pretty much every turn I was attacking and using as many troops as I can to attack. I almost lost, but they all threw they threw the white towel to me. It's in Risk specifically. The reason the game goes so long is because people sit there and build up their army. And
I've
then
never
when
played
it's
Risk, so
the way Risk goes is very quick and easy. Each turn you get a certain amount of troops, you draw a card, and depending on the card that you draw, you could get even more troops and stuff like that. You get troops based on the locations you own and things like that. You get a certain number. If you were to go to attack, say I was attacking you, and I had 10 units, and you had 5. It's not I'm rolling 10 die, you're rolling 5. It's I'm rolling 3 die, and taking the 2 highest, and you're rolling 2 die and taking the 2 highest, taking them. And if I, as the attacker, roll higher than you, the defender, your 2 of your troops get killed. If you roll higher than me, 2 of my troops get killed, or however many. So if it's a tie, if one of yours is higher and one of mine is higher, we each lose 1. And then the attacker gets to choose, do you continue to push? And then you roll 3 versus 2 again, until you whittle down either army to where the attacker decides, I'm not going to attack anymore, or the defender loses all their troops and you move into their space. And that is for how many fucking regions on a board? And if you're going to sit here and build up an army of hundreds of thousands of units, well, not hundreds, but hundreds of units, if you're going to sit here and just build an army in one place of hundreds of units, then you're going to make the game go for 3 hours because we're going to be rolling for 25 minutes to get from one place to the next. Just one board, one zone over. And I'm going to, as the mid-maxer that you say I am, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep playing and rolling these dice until all of my troops are dead.
yes, you will.
I'm not giving up. Because if I would have given up at any point in time, I would not have won that game. But because I didn't give up, I won that game because they were tired of rolling dice. Well, you should have just attacked. It's as simple as that. Because if you have 100 units and you're attacking my countries that are ill-defended with only 1 or 2 units in it, you're obviously going to win at some point. Because if I only have 1 unit in a place, I'm only rolling 1 die to your 3. It's most likely I'm going to lose those. You need to just start moving. You need to not treat it as war, and you need to treat it as a board game that it is. That is how you play and beat Risk and finish Risk within 2 hours.
Okay. I believe you.
You can, I think the playtime for Monopoly, I think the labeled playtime would be roughly 45 minutes, because if you don't
No
play...
one actually plays with the actual rules as written.
Exactly. If you were to play as the rules is written, the game would be over within an hour.
Yeah, there's a lot of very specific rules in Monopoly that everybody ignores.
Exactly. The free parking is not a rule. Free parking has gotten me out of some very tricky situations to where, like, I was going to lose no matter what I did. Oh, I landed on free parking and got hundreds of thousands of dollars, and now I can just buy everything back that I just lost.
But also, there are specific rules on like how and when you can buy things too that no one actually follows.
Yeah. Well, I know, like, generally it's every you have to circle the board once before you can buy anything. I don't know if that's a house rule. That may be an actual rule.
I'm pretty sure that's actually a rule, like, in the book.
And if you get sent to jail by landing on the go to jail spot, you have not circled the map because it says do not pass go. So you still have to circle it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's that. There's no free parking bullshit. Obviously, and everyone this is generally one of the rules everyone adheres to. You can't have more. If you have, say you have one of the properties that have three of that color. You can't have 4 houses on one property and only one on the other two. It needs to be a difference of 1 total.
Right. You have to build them up.
You have to,
like consistently across.
yeah. Them. You can't build a hotel on one without having a hotel or at least 4 houses on the other two. And then I don't know what other rules there would be, but like generally it's the free parking rule that really makes Monopoly. I don't even know if there's actual trade rules.
I don't know either. I don't actually like Monopoly all that much, like in general.
Is trade in a Monopoly? Let's see. Why you're playing a classic parking? Absolutely allowed with the term. No. Okay, so is it allowed to trade properties like X property for X property? If so, yeah. Okay, so trading is allowed. I just wasn't.
All right.
Freaking people! I hate people.
Well,
somebody asked a question on Reddit about trading in Monopoly, and somebody's just like, "Why don't you read the rules?" and shared a link to the Monopoly. Like, come on, guy, just answer the question.
I mean, yes, but also people should read the rules.
Yeah.
Shall we move on though?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So the last thing that we've got is I played the new game Mixtape.
Nice. How was it?
It was really good. Have you seen this game at all?
No, I have not.
So it literally just came out, I think, last week. It's like a narrative adventure game. It follows 3 teens on like the last day of summer after their senior year. So like they're basically all about to like college and jobs and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And the 3 teens are kind of like the delinquents. So the whole plan for them this day is they're kind of like supposed to hang out, and they're supposed to be going to a party on the beach that night, and they need to find alcohol to bring with them. And kind of what some of the stuff wrapped up around it is the main character that you're kind of like playing as, and who is also kind of narrating everything. And she breaks the 4th wall too. She isn't just going to college. She's actually that next morning is flying to New York to get a job in like doing music stuff. Because she is super into music, hence the title Mixtape. The game also takes place sometime in the 90s. Based on kind of like technology and some of like the bands that are mentioned, it's got to be like mid to late 90s. Because mm-hmm. like cassettes and VHSs are still around, but like the main character also has a Discman, and like that is what she's kind of listening to her Discman all the time. But I also looked up throughout the whole game, she's also breaking the 4th wall and like narrating what music is playing, and like naming like the track and the band, and sometimes like a fun little fact about it. Like at one point, you got the touch from Transformers, the 86 animated movie came on. And she's literally like, hey, this is this song by this band. It was originally written for the 1986 Transformers movie. And so, like, looking some of that stuff up, like, a couple of the songs came out in, like, 94. So I'm thinking, like, somewhere between, like, 95 and 99 is probably where the game fits. Probably closer to 95 based on just, like, what they're wearing and everything. Mm-hmm. The game has a really cool style, though. The characters almost look and move like stop motion in a weird way. But then all of like the environments and backgrounds and all are like not hand painted, because that would be very 2D, but just have like this very like natural look to them.
Yeah. It's I'm looking at it on Steam. It is very weird and off-putting a little bit. Like I really enjoyed what was that? South of Midnight did something similar.
Yeah, the characters are similar. Like, yeah.
It was stop motion animated, but the whole world had that look. Whereas this, like, the characters to me look a little out of place in some of the locations that they're at.
Especially in like a lot of the game is like wilderness, oddly enough. You're either in their bedrooms or in the wilderness. Because like, so the game is kind of told almost through like vignettes. So that like they're best friends, but there's like some, not hostility, but definitely some anger about things. Like they were supposed to go on a road trip to drive the one girl to college. But the main girl that you're kind of following is leaving the next day instead of following through on that. Like things like that. So there's a lot of like those mentions. But they're kind of like having like this nostalgia trip too, of like the last 4 years. So as you're kind of like in the different environments, whether it's like one of their rooms or they hang out at like an abandoned hunting shack in the woods, um, there's like little areas that you're meant to go interact with. Kind of like just like all those other adventure games, you know how like Telltale and stuff. Like
Yeah.
you walk around an environment and there's like stuff to interact with, and the narrator will generally tell you like something about the item. Same idea. There's a bunch of stuff to interact with, and then on top of that, there are also like key items to interact with, and those ones will generally kick off some sort of like little vignette, and it's usually something that happened in the last few years. Sometimes it's very story driven. Sometimes there's actually like some game, like some actual like stuff to do. One of my favorite ones was there's like a little baseball mini game where the one girl, she used to be a softball player. So you're literally like at a baseball field with like a pitching machine pitching softballs, and you're just trying to hit them. And every time you hit one, the background changes and becomes like until like you've hit enough and it becomes like a full stadium. And there's like a rock skipping mini game where there's like bottles that you can like break out at floating on things, and like a tire swing you can try and like bounce the rock through. Like just it's little stuff like that as like the story is being told. So like it's almost like fidgety stuff to do while you're experiencing the story. But it all really fit into like the narrative. And then because they're teenagers, all the stories tend to be a little more like hyperbole, far-fetched. There's a little bit of like suspension of disbelief in certain sections where like they'll just start flying randomly, and like goofy fantasy stuff will happen. But it all like a lot of times it's all kind of tied to the emotions of the moment. So at one point, you see like your one friend, she is now hanging out with somebody that she told you that she didn't feel well and was staying home, and then you see her like going to a diner with somebody else. And so like you're depressed after that. So like it's raining, and that little gameplay segment is you literally like floating home and like bumping into things and like knocking stuff around. Like the game has some cool physics is what I'm saying. There's one section where the one kid, he's very high, and he gets sent into like the Blockbuster to rent movies, and it's one of those like you can't walk straight and everything's blurry. And anytime you bump into like the aisles, you just knock all of the videos on the floor, and you just hear the kid working behind the counter going like, "Come on, man, I have to clean that up. Come on."
Nice.
But yeah, like it ended up being like a really good kind of short story, reminiscent of like those like coming of age movies, like the John Hughes stuff from the 80s, and there were definitely like 80s and 90s and 2000s ones, like not as raunchy as like a Superbad, but like similar themes to that. Like, you know how like I forget their names in the movie, but like Jonah Hill and what's his face, Michael Cera, like they're like friends, but then like they're also going to different schools, and there's that like friction between them as they're trying to like make their way to that party at the end of the night.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like similar vibes to that, only like frankly like a little more wholesome. Though like they are also like juvenile delinquents. Like the one girl, her dad is like the town sheriff, and he does not like who his daughter hangs out with.
Of course not.
Yeah, but like it was actually a really cool game. I want to say I can actually tell you how long it took because it was on Steam. Oh, Steam's not running. Never mind. I can't tell you how long it took because my computer shut down earlier when I lost power. I probably like 4 to 5 hours. So it's not super long. And it definitely it's going to be longer depending on how much time you really spend like looking through things and seeing like what all the different dialogue is around the items in like the different locations you go to. It's not like a Telltale style your decisions matter sort of game. Like there are no dialogue prompts where you have to decide like how you want to respond to something. It really is just like experiencing the game and like kind of like playing around with some of the stuff that they let you do, whether it's like I said, skipping rocks, painting a door, making slushy combinations, like shit that teenagers would do, frankly.
Yeah.
But it was a good time, and I'm glad I grabbed it. I actually happened to see it was on sale, and a few podcasts I listened to were like raving about it. So I'm like, you know what? Like it's on a little like release sale. Like it seems like it could be a fun little game to play. it is absolutely a game, and like this coming from me, it's a game that you need to play with like the sound on. Like you can't play this game with just subtitles on.
Hmm.
Um,
I mean, I would argue you need to play every game with sound on, but
nah,
that's just me apparently, I guess.
yeah, that's just you.
It blows my mind that I am the minority in this group about that. Like especially someone like Drew who loves music as much as he does. It blows my mind that
But
I
you know
am.
what? Like it depends on the game. Like there are some games where like as long as I can like see what's going on and know what's going on, I don't necessarily need the volume up. So a lot of modern games also just add a lot of stupid shit that like I don't care about. And the music, while the music's good, I can always just listen to that later on like Spotify usually or like YouTube. But like this is one of those games where like the music, like I realize like realistically music matters in all games, but like so much of this game is based around the music that's playing. It doesn't work without it, like at all.
Mhm. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, great game. Definitely worth checking out. I think it's like $20.
I think it's less than that. I don't know.
I paid less than that, but I thought it was on sale.
Oh yeah, it's $20. It's
Yeah.
currently still on sale, 17.99, which ends on the 21st. So
Okay.
you got time to get it.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely worth checking out. If you
Nice.
like these like very just narrative kind of adventures.
Yeah,
So
very very Annapurna-esque
yeah. Yeah,
because
definitely.
that's who published it anyway.
Oh, I actually, you know what? I did not look at that. I didn't realize that was who published.
Hmm.
But yeah, that might be a show though too.
Yeah, I think that's about it. There's nothing really else to talk about.
Right. Well, if you'd like to find some more of our content, you can head over to www.one-quest.com. You can also help us out by supporting us at patreon.com/onequest. If you can't support us there where your dollars though, you can go to your favorite podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, rate us, review us, subscribe to us. It all helps. You can also find us on social media, facebook.com/onequestonline or at @one_quest on Instagram and Twitter. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/onequestvideo. And you can always send us an email to social@one-quest.com. Oh, and Blue Sky is at one-quest.com. Tomorrow the episode might go up a little late tomorrow because I'm at a client that I'm not usually at on a Thursday. And I just don't know how busy it's going to be. So,
Wow, how rude.
yeah, you know what? It happens. My schedule got all sorts of wonky this week. But,
Yeah.
Rich, what does your streaming look like?
Twitch.tv/B_1 for video game streaming, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Really the only thing to plug right now is starting June 6th will be my 5-year stream anniversary event. It is based around Hollow Knight, so the more money that you come and subscribe and donate over to me and send me bits and whatnot, the more money I get, the more challenges I have to do in Hollow Knight, and could go as far as up into Hollow Knight Silksong, even attempting to have to do Iron Soul, which is the permadeath mode. So, if you guys want to see that, if you want to come hang out with me, please do so. There will be opportunities to make me eat chocolate-covered bugs and stuff like that as well, because Hollow Knight is all about bugs. So I figured, why not eat bugs? Yeah, and I'm still planning it out and whatnot, but just come on over and hang out on that day and any other day where I'm streaming whatever games I feel like playing.
Cool. And with that, we'll be back next week with something else to talk about. Thanks for listening. Bye.
See yous.